Imagine paying $272 for rice in Dubai. This is the royal gold biryani, served with real gold leaves. While some buy luxury, the rest of the world eats this on a massive scale. In India, people buy 180 portions every minute. This dish has caused riots, ended marriages, and influenced elections. It is the most popular meal with a secret identity. So how did a meal for soldiers become a gold-plated symbol people fight for? To understand the scale, look at the madness of the records. A team of 60 chefs once cooked a single pot of biryani that weighed over 30,000 pounds. People treat this recipe like a religion. When a famous restaurant owner had a hygiene scandal, his loyal customers did not protest. They sent him 1,000 letters because they could not imagine life without his food. It is physically addictive. But every city claims they invented it, even though the name is not Indian. If the world's most famous Indian dish is actually a Persian import, who really owns the soul of this recipe? The story starts, as often, with hunger and war. The name comes from the Persian word Biryani, which means fried before cooking. Legend says Queen Mumtaz Mahal visited the army barracks and saw the soldiers looking weak. She told the cooks to mix meat and rice with many spices to create a complete nutritional meal in one pot. Other stories say the conqueror Timur brought it over in 1398. His army would dig pits in the ground, fill them with meat and rice, and let the earth cook their dinner while they went out to battle. Biryani is not just food, it is a political tool. In 2009, a political party in Chennai won an election because they handed out thousands of biryani packets to voters. It became known as the Biryani Bypolls. Even cricket players like MS Dhoni have lost their temper over it. He once moved his entire team out of a 5-star hotel because the management blocked his friend from bringing in homemade Hyderabad biryani. If the hotel says no to the rice, the captain leaves the hotel. Then you have the potato situation in Kolkata. If you go there, your plate has a big, soft potato in it. People from other cities laugh at this. They call it a cheap filler. But the history is sad. When the Nawab of Awadh was removed from his palace by the British, he had no money left to buy meat for his people. His cook started using potatoes to make the meal heavy and satisfying. And what started because of poverty became a sign of regional pride. Now, if you forget the potato in Kolkata, you might start a fight. There is also a technical conflict between biryani and pulao. If you cook the rice and meat together in the same water, people will tell you that you are not eating biryani. Real biryani must be put in layers and cooked using the dum method. This means sealing the pot with raw dough so no steam escapes. The pressure builds up until the meat becomes very soft. It is slow, difficult, and requires perfect timing. In Kerala, they use biryani to motivate the public. They once offered free plates of chicken biryani to anyone who helped clean a massive polluted lake. It worked. Thousands showed up just to get a plate. It is used as an incentive for movies, as a peace offering between enemies, and as a wedding gift. But remember, the taste is so personal that a man in India once stopped his wedding because he did not like the spice level of the rice served by the bride's family. It is a dish of ego, history, and survival. It moved from Persian campfire pits to royal Indian palaces and eventually into gold-plated bowls in Dubai. It changes its appearance every time it crosses a border. In the south, it is spicy. In the north, it has a floral smell. But it never loses its power to start a conversation or a conflict. Whether it is made with expensive saffron or humble potatoes, it commands respect. People will wait in line for hours and travel hundreds of miles just for that perfect bite. It is the flavor of history itself, served hot and steaming. Follow the story, not just the recipe. More dishes are waiting.